In a scandal sending shockwaves fracturing the very sanctity of the British royal family, Meghan Markle's world has been plunged into turmoil following the explosive arrest of her beloved mother Doria Reglan. The Duchess of Sussex looked absolutely devastated, stepping out in tears Thursday pleading for dignity, but ultimately finding herself cast in the unfathomable position vehemently defending the ex-con parent facing potential prison time dredged up from her criminal past. "My mom may have made some mistakes as a struggling young woman surviving life's hardships thrown her way decades ago," a red-faced and puffy-eyed Meghan declared to a stalking pack of paparazzi camped outside the Sussex's Montecito mansion. But Doria Reglan has spent the last 30 years rehabilitating herself while overcoming systemic adversities, establishing an impeccable reputation as a pillar within her community, giving back through social services constantly. According to official police statements, special investigative operatives executing sting operations apprehended the 66-year-old Reglan on a litany of outstanding warrants stemming from her checkered legal history throughout Los Angeles' seedy underbelly. Spanning decades clear back to the late 1980s, the laundry list of felony and misdemeanor charges remains as outdated as they are shocking: forgery, drug possession, prostitution stings, violent assaults, credit card fraud, and even driving the getaway car during an armed robbery incident back in 1992. On balance, Ms. Reglan faces exceptionally serious charges carrying potential sentences ranging from 5 years imprisonment upwards toward life based on convictions for aggravated robberies and assault with a deadly weapon, said LAPD spokesman Nate Hampton during a press conference outlining the reasons Meghan's mother now sits behind bars at downtown Los Angeles' Twin Towers Correctional Facility. Whether ultimately found guilty or those previous cases reopened determining any new legal judgments, today's operation categorically proves allegations this senior citizen absolutely maintains an extremely troubled history once deeply enmeshed within various regional criminal enterprises. Police statements indicate special multi-jurisdictional fugitive task forces recently traced Reglan to her current home among Montecito's opulent estates through routine organizational data mining, reviewing decades-old unsolved violent cases for statutes of limitations. Investigative operations undertaken by elite LAPD units then uncovered voluminous fingerprint evidence confirming Reglan's identity matched wanted individual profiles from a variety of open warrants, dating back to years operating alongside several documented LA street gangs during the peak 1990s crime waves. While some outstanding charges undoubtedly surpassed legal deadlines qualifying them for active prosecution, Reglan's fingerprint profiles established undeniable guilt on many others, making her susceptible to extradition facing renewed active sentencing regardless of passage of time. Law enforcement sources say the special tactical operation relied heavily on comprehensive DNA databases updated continuously through expansions, pooling millions more samples compared to decades earlier. "We don't mess around adjudicating scumbag recidivist criminals escaping judicial accountability using fugitive status as some statute of limitations loophole, especially once their degeneracy levels reach Doria Reglan's extremes," said a high-ranking ATF agent assisting LAPD's apprehension who spoke on condition of anonymity. These task forces specifically prioritize tracking down society's worst serial offenders exhibiting complete disregard for public safety or human decency, operating alongside narco-traffickers, violent mobs and sex trafficking rings. Fleeing a swarm of aggressive reporters and camera crews surveilling the palatial Montecito compound long before Reglan's arrest set surrounding neighborhoods into chaos, Meghan Markle looked completely shattered, sputtering through racking sobs. However, the embattled Duchess remained determined, defending her mother despite scathing details emerging surrounding a twisted adult life of crime, violence, and exploitation alleged of the elder Reglan, going as far as insinuating corrupt law enforcement elements engaging vicious discrimination conspiracies. "Those of you so sanctimoniously rushing judgment over viral mugshots from decades-old contexts, you willfully misrepresent never experienced racism's crushing oppression, fueling systemic disadvantages, forcing impoverished women into vicious cycles, financial desperation turns illicit surviving," the Duchess of Sussex shouted through lashings of eyeliner-tinged tears streaming down her anguished face. "My mom did whatever grueling labor her circumstances punished enduring, so she deserves incredible grace and empathy, exemplifying resilience, overcoming marginalized suppression, continually barring upward mobility rather than condemnation." Understandably, many British royal observers expressed complete shock and abject horror over the Duchess's seeming defense of egregious criminal allegations surrounding her own parents' alleged former activities. While Meghan Markle indisputably retains the maternal right, steadfastly supporting Doria Reglan under unimaginably difficult circumstances, broadcasting open sympathy for apparent felons and lawbreakers grossly smeared the pride of the British crown. Some outright accused the former American actress turned Duchess of appearing an embarrassing national security risk due to such brazen glorification of obvious criminalities. It beggars belief that Meghan blindly stands behind this woman now proven harboring endless deceitful secrets, hiding her thoroughly scandalous Californian past fraught with gangs and reckless lawlessness, said British journalist Piers Morgan, who repeatedly clashed with the Sussexes over various royal conflagrations before her Oprah interview. I realize her progressive politics champion endless excuses, constantly defending indefensible violence and illegalities, glorifying outlaw culture, but she just royally bungled any future chances rebuilding public trust with moderate British sensibilities. Others expressing outrage over Meghan's flagrant character defense included various victim advocacy groups and minority community leaders. Numerous organization representatives blasted her seeming callous disregard toward the traumatic horrors surrounding violence and criminal recklessness potentially inflicted upon vulnerable populations from both Raglan's alleged sex work participation and driving getaway vehicles facilitating armed robberies. Several prominent Black Lives Matter chapters issued scorching statements rebuking the Duchess for essentially spitting upon their own social justice principles, promoting accountability around vicious criminalities devastating underprivileged urban communities. It's extremely troubling and frankly irresponsible that someone possessing Meghan Markle's influential status willfully diminishes the unimaginable trauma surrounding vicious lawless behavior supposedly exhibited across decades within impoverished neighborhoods by her own mother, said Dr. Melina Abdullah, co-founder of Black Lives Matter's Los Angeles chapter. How does she expect cooperating with our civil rights leadership restoring community trust when potentially defending sex trafficker allegations, or getaway driving accessories to heinous